There's a rumor going around that some kind of spider might have killed Sam Metcalf, maybe Margaret, maybe even my Bronco.
Doubtful, Henry. There was a case in Florida where one of my colleagues bumped into a nest of black widows, sustained over a dozen bites, and lived. Of course, he permanently lost control of all of his bodily functions. There's no spider here. But I will hunt down the alleged arachnid and spread him to kingdom come.
A modern day remake of Matthew Vaughn's Layer Kick, a Coen brothers end up with Timothy Chalamet. A Citizen Kane prequel, a Midnight Cowboy sequel, Alvin and the Chipmunks deserve another squeakquel. There's so many new ways to revisit sideways, but a graphic novel is how we choose to update. But we still hold fast, you can't change the past on the Ruined Childhoods podcast.
On this season's very first episode, we celebrated a cult classic so worthy of a quirky revisit, its off-kilter comedy remake releases this coming Christmas. 1997's Anaconda, the story of a documentary crew who becomes entangled with a ruthless animal poacher in the Amazon, is known for its over-the-top performances, visual effects, and a cast filled with soon-to-be all-stars. The film's director, however, did not have very many hits to his name. In addition to directing Anaconda, Yosa also directed Crime Zone, Sniper, and The Specialist, the story of a bomb expert hired by a woman seeking vengeance against the mob boss who killed her family. The film stars James Woods, Sharon Stone, and Sylvester Stallone as explosives specialist Ray Quick. The Specialist was released during Stallone's period of post-Rambo and Rocky, pre-Expendables and Tulsa King action films that also consist of classics like Tango and Cash, Demolition Man, and Cliffhanger. Released in May of 1993, Cliffhanger was written by Stallone and Michael France and also stars John Lithgow, Michael Rooker, and Janine Turner. The film is one of many 90s action films directed by Renny Harlin, starting with Die Hard 2 in 1990 and wrapping up the decade with 1999's Deep Blue Sea. Much like Anaconda, Deep Blue Sea follows the tradition of man vs. enormous beast films, the most popular being Jaws, which was released 50 years ago at the time of this episode's release. Though it was not his first film, Jaws made Steven Spielberg a household name and was a pivotal figure in filmmaking, especially during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. In 1980, Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, and Frank Marshall, wink, launched the independent production company Amblin Entertainment, which would release films covered on this podcast such as Gremlins, The Goonies, Back to the Future, Harry and the Hendersons, Inner Space, Hook, Twister, Deep Impact, The Mask of Zorro, and this week's film. Creating Starfighters, this is Ruined Childhood, Season 3 finale. I'm John, here with my brother Dan, and on this episode we're talking about Arachnophobia, the 1990 thrillamedy about a family who moves to a small town at the same time another guest arrives, a rare Venezuelan spider who will do anything to survive and reproduce. Dan, do you have any, textbook phobias?
Textbook phobias? I would say, snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, the scientific term for, a fear of snakes.
Logic. I don't know. It's actually illogical. But a textbook, is having seen Raiders of the Lost Ark at too young of an age. We'll do that to you, I suppose.
Maybe it's just maybe it's Indiana Jones syndrome or something like that. But,
that's interesting. Serpophobia, perhaps.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would say I'm afraid of heights, but extreme heights, things. I'm not going skydiving anytime soon. Or ever.
Or cliffhanging.
Ever. Or definitely not cliffhanging. No, that terrifies me. I love that movie. Oh
yeah, it's fun.
They're
remaking that one too.
Are they really though?
Yeah.
I feel like they're always
allegedly.
I don't know. I feel like that one's kind of always going around, but I wouldn't be surprised if Stallone himself was trying to kind of reboot it. But also Cliffhanger is that's a concept that you can kind of do over and over again.
A remake of Cliffhanger is scheduled for release on August 28th, 2026, starring Pierce Brosnan and Lily James.
Okay. All right. So
yeah.
that's intriguing to me. I'm glad that they're not going the Anaconda route with it, though. I feel like after the Anaconda remake, you kind of can't do that. It does remind me a little bit of, wasn't there that the movie about someone like the kid who made his own version of like Indiana Jones or something like that? And
oh yeah, and then there's also My RoboCop movie, which is like a bunch of different independent filmmakers each doing a scene from RoboCop.
Right.
So that's fun.
Yeah. So I feel like it's not like entirely it's new ground.
Anaconda warrants itself for the type of remake that it's getting, whereas Cliffhanger, it's ripe for just like a new take on a cliffhanging action movie.
Right. Yeah. It's a concept, as we will get into. It is a concept that doesn't really get old. So, what about you, John? What are your phobias?
I think that you and I are the same. I mean, snakes, big time. I'm not like terrified of heights, but I'm also not, I think that it's less of a heights thing and more of I'm not an adrenaline junkie thing as to why I wouldn't go like skydiving or anything like that. That just doesn't interest me, but it's not as much of a heights thing. But yeah, the snake thing, nope, no thank you.
It's a falling from great heights thing.
Got it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Which I think a fear of heights, correct me if I'm wrong, is also, is there anyone who's afraid of heights but not afraid of falling from those heights? I feel like that's really the fear.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. Falling from a great height. If falling was not a concept that you were familiar with, it might not be as much of a problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, it's definitely the falling part. But snakes, that's pretty, I am not arachnophobic.
Well, we definitely talked about, I know I talked about my snake phobia on our Anaconda episode.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that I will say, something that I was thinking about while I was thinking about this episode, is I want to say that like this movie, Arachnophobia, really informed the masses about the technical term for a fear of spiders.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it does it brilliantly.
Made it a household word. And not that this was a huge... So can we talk a little bit about when this movie came out?
Please. Take us back to 1990, Dan.
Oh, God, I'd be so happy to. So now, for those who've been following our season here, not too long ago, we were back in the summer of 1990, and we talked about Darkman. And I need to correct myself because I remember making a comment about the summer of 1990 not having quite the bangers as summer of 1989. And we talked a little bit about August being a little bit of that dumping ground. And then I went back and I looked at the movies released in August 1990, and it is like a list of some of my favorites because we have Arachnophobia, Darkman, My Blue Heaven,
right,
Young Guns 2, Flatliners, so double your Kiefer.
All movies we have covered on this podcast.
Oh, I'm going to keep going down the list. Exorcist 3.
Okay.
And then movies we haven't covered, but Pump Up the Volume. And
right.
And today, the day that we're recording this, November 3rd, we heard of the passing of Diane Ladd, who got, I believe, was Oscar nominated for another August 1990 release, Wild at Heart.
Oh, yeah.
So August 1990 was made for me. Was
that all in August of 1990?
All August of 1990. And there were other movies as well that came out in August, the DuckTales movie. But I'm just thinking of, all right, the movies that like I have come back to multiple times. Can't quite say that for Pump Up the Volume, but I think that's just because I've never really owned a copy of it.
Well, Dan, perhaps in the future we will have an opportunity to cover that on this podcast.
Oh, it could be. It could happen. But all of those
I
other
watched
movies,
it a couple of years ago. It's fun.
I have gone back to all of those other movies several times since their release. We've covered most of them on the podcast.
Yeah.
So August 1990, which is when we see the release of Arachnophobia, the debut release of Hollywood Pictures,
Right. Mm-hmm.
who I associate with better than average movies, and Arachnophobia being on the higher end. But I feel like I think of Hollywood Pictures, I think of like the Gina Davis film Angie, or the Melanie Griffith A Stranger Among Us. Or,
when the card came up for Hollywood Pictures when watching this, there was something comforting about it.
yeah,
And it's not that
Right.
I necessarily know a lot about the history of Hollywood Pictures or are familiar with like all of the movies in its catalog. For some reason, seeing that, and maybe it's because I haven't seen it in a while, and it's just like it brings me back to a certain time.
Tombstone, I believe,
Okay.
was Hollywood. Hollywood Pictures was a branch of Buena Vista. So Disney, Touchstone, Hollywood
Touchstone,
Pictures, which let The Marrying Man, there we go, the Neil Simon, Alec Baldwin, Kim Basinger, Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia.
We talked about
He's
on our
boy.
last episode.
Yeah.
We love Robert Loggia.
We sure do.
So, we've got a lot. I totally lost my train of thought there.
Hollywood Pictures.
Hollywood
So,
Pictures.
yeah.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
There's screens and lights. So, but yeah, Hollywood Pictures, and I'm pretty sure it was like Frank Marshall.
Right. So the reason why I said wink during the intro is that Frank Marshall directed Arachnophobia.
Yeah.
And yes, as we've talked about on the last episode, was a core member of like the Spielberg team.
Oh.
And produced, Indiana Jones and all those Spielberg classics.
Spielberg, Marshall, Kennedy, that trio really put out all those. You mentioned so many of them, so many of those, wonderful movies before.
I just mentioned the ones that we've covered on this podcast.
Well, right,
there's so many
that,
Amblin
right.
films. Yeah.
And then another Hollywood picture, Alive, that Frank Marshall
I just
would
watched
go on
Alive
to.
for the first time like a month ago.
Really? I mean,
Really?
I haven't seen it since its VHS release, but that's a Frank Marshall joint right there.
You know what? I didn't even realize that. Okay.
Yeah, so you did a little Frank Marshall Film Festival. You didn't even know
I guess I did.
Yeah.
Who knew?
that could happen.
Watching Arachnophobia. So Dan, this was my first time watching it since I was a child watching it on video.
I definitely had a previewed copy of the VHS tape.
Nice. Yeah. And that's probably how I watched it. But it was, I think for people of my generation, like my exact like age range, I guess you could say, it was definitely one of those like early scary movies that like imprinted on so many of us. And because like it's, you have the John Goodman of it all, and it's like funny and weird, and the horror in it isn't so terrifying, but because it's about like the villain in it is something that, we encounter all the time in reality, not necessarily this exact breed of spider, but spiders in general. It's like, look, we're not encountering, great white sharks in our house all the time. So like, Jaws is a very specialized, or we don't live in the Amazon, so anacondas aren't necessarily going to be all over the place, but like spiders are everywhere. So
Yeah.
there was something about that. And I'm going to tell you this. I think about this movie, and I have thought about this movie every single time since it came out that I have put on a pair of slippers. Always got to double check.
That's fantastic. No, that's great. Yeah, I saw this movie in the theater when it came out, and
No doubt. Mhm.
But yeah, and at that point, like summer of 1990, that was when I started going to see my R-rated movies in the theater. But this movie was so great because it was effective, and you could go see it at a younger age. There was not there wasn't really gore. It's PG-13, and it's got a kind of like quaintness about it.
Yeah, and aside from the character at the beginning, and you'll get into a synopsis soon, but Manley, the photographer, aside from like seeing his decayed body that has been like sucked dry by this spider en route from South America, aside from that, I don't know, there's really not that much that you actually see. Like the dead people still look like people for the rest of the movie. And you really just see, it's those really clever shots of when you're seeing the spider and where's the spider
shadows gonna go. And every time a character would go reach somewhere, it's just such a well-made movie. It was so much fun to go back and watch it again.
Totally.
Yeah. Shall I
do you want to
synopsis?
synopsize for us?
Let's do it. When a photographer is killed in the Amazon by a rare spider, his casket is sent to his small hometown with one unexpected addition: the deadly spider who killed him. Also new to town is the Jennings family, transplants from San Francisco who moved to take over for the retiring town physician. But when the spider sets up shop in Dr. Jennings' barn and begins to reproduce, the neighbors are killed off one by one. Now, Dr. Jennings needs to prove that he's not responsible for the mysterious deaths while doing what he can to eliminate the town's deadly spider problem. As Dr. Jennings, we have Jeff Daniels. As Dr. I'm not looking at the cast, but I was like, as Dr. Atherton. Yeah, it is Dr. Atherton. Julian Sands. We have Harley. We have
Julian Sands is great.
Julian Sands, another tragic. Rest in peace, man. We have Harley Jane Kozak as Molly Jennings, John Goodman as Delbert McClintock, some other familiar faces in there, especially to like 80s and 90s comedies. Stuart Pankin.
I would say Stuart Pankin, who we talked about on the Fatal Attraction episode.
That sounds right.
Isn't he like his like work friend or something?
Yeah, I think so. He was the anchor of not necessarily the news.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So he's in there. We've got Kathy Kinney as Blair Kendall. She's is the wife of. Oh, is he the? He's not the coroner. No, the actor who plays him is so recognizable there. I'm
not going to be the best person at
James
identifying
Handy.
Which characters had which names.
Oh, no, sorry, not James. Yeah, Roy Brocksmith. He's the kind of guy like you've seen him in commercials from the 80s and 90s. You have, speaking of Wild at Heart, Frances Bay,
right?
Happy Gilmore's grandmother,
yes.
et cetera, et cetera.
Who's excellent.
Yeah. Some other familiar faces in there, and who's this guy I'm looking for? I can't find the guy I'm looking for. He's with Dr. Atherton in the Amazon.
Oh, in the Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the guy from the end.
Is this Juan Fernandez? That might be his, like you see him. It's Juan Fernandez. So, right.
It's a really solid cast. Everybody's kind of perfectly placed into their roles.
I got to throw out one more guy, sure. John, from a movie that you and I both know and love. Actually, let me just double check and confirm before I say this. But did you recognize Dr. Atherton's kind of assistant towards in the end when Dr. Atherton comes to
The younger guy?
yeah, the younger guy. Did you recognize that guy?
Oh, seemed familiar, but tell me.
Todd in Caddyshack 2.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah. Always fun to see him in things that aren't Caddyshack 2. Also fun to see him in Caddyshack 2.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway, great cast of wonderful people who, like, if you watched especially these, like, you know, kind of these comedies, you know, better than average or / better than average comedies in the like late 80s, early 90s, you recognize these people. So there was something really nostalgic about just about the cast.
Yeah, and I feel like because the cast has so many performers who, you know, come from a comedic background or you've seen in comedic roles, and also some of them you had maybe this was their first or one of their early comedic roles, but like there's something about it where it kind of lightens it when you're watching it, and it doesn't make it feel like it's a heavy horror film because you're kind of comforted by funny people. I mean, Jeff Daniels hadn't really done too many light things prior to this.
You know, like Purple Rose of Cairo, maybe at this point, but otherwise, yeah, like he was in like Terms of Endearment.
I mean, Something Wild.
Yeah, Something Wild.
He's kind of a sillier character, but it's certainly not serious. But, you know, of course, he hadn't done Dumb and Dumber yet, which would definitely be what people would be most disarmed by, or like would see him and think this is a safe person to be following for a horror movie.
Right. No, actually, yeah. Prior to this, it was Terms of Endearment, Heartburn, Purple Rose of Cairo, and Something Wild. I think were kind of the at least the big ones. I don't remember him in anything else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, Radio Days. He's in Radio Days.
Oh yeah, Radio Days. Sure.
Yeah. So The House on Carroll Street, right? That one. But yeah, then he does this, and a Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael comes out.
I was just going to say,
right
Welcome
after.
Home, Roxy Carmichael was around there. Yeah,
we talked about that movie.
We sure did.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was really Dumb and Dumber was really, I think, what helped Jeff Daniels take off.
Oh, for sure.
That and then yeah. Oh, go on.
So you saw this in the theater.
Sure did.
It left an impression on you so much to the point that you got a previously viewed copy of it on VHS.
I sure did.
Do you remember kind of what your experience was like seeing this? What kind of feelings does it bring up for you to think about arachnophobia?
Fun. It's fun. It's just fun. Like it was like it's marketed as like, you know, the first thrill-omedy.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun summer movie.
Yeah.
Just kind of like what I mean, I'm not saying every movie should be like Arachnophobia, but it was just that, like, that fun movie, and that it did so many things. Like we talked, the effects in it are so well done. The spiders, the use of spiders, and whatever else they did is so. I mean, like it's not terrifying. You don't watch it, but you watch it, and you're just like, oh, the spiders. Don't reach up there. Don't reach. Oh, it's fine. Oh, that's not where the spider is. Oh, that's right. Oh no, don't reach. Oh no, it's in the popcorn. Oh, so.
Yeah.
All of those moments and watching all of those, seeing all those moments. And I don't remember in the theater if it was a full theater or what it was, but I mean, it was a crowd pleasing movie.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah. The visual effects are incredible. It's so many live spiders, and in certain cases animatronics were involved, but not to the point where it was so over the top that it felt completely unrealistic. And if you've seen spiders that are in like Australia and certainly in South America, there are some gigantic spiders out there, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're out there to get you, but there's something disarming about seeing this like dark, fuzzy, 8-legged creature.
Oh yeah, no, it's a little like, yeah, I might be a little arachnophobic if I came into contact with one of those, especially ones that like leap the way that
Oh yeah.
this one, when it leaps onto the camera. Oh, it's so good.
You know,
I don't want to talk too much about the jump scares, actually. People might not have seen the movie.
sure, yeah. Just real quick, I the other day I was in my backyard and I was plucking some persimmons from my persimmon tree. Hold for
Ooh.
applause. And yes, my next door neighbor is a big fan of them. So the tree in my yard, I'm just like, this time of year, I can't get them fast enough. They grow like crazy. And I was about to walk over to another area where I saw a whole bunch of, pops of orange. And luckily I stopped just soon enough, right in my face, a very large intricate spider web, and right in the middle, a huge frickin' spider.
Oh, wow.
Not like arachnophobia size spider, but definitely a healthy, has eaten lots of flies spider. And I know that in this part of the world, in the Pacific Northwest, spiders here aren't venomous. Very fortunately so, considering there are so many spiders here, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't scared to be near it. It just scared me to know, ooh, I am so glad I didn't walk right into that, because that would have been a little freaky. But like,
what happens to Manly?
Oh my God. Oh yeah, absolutely.
He walks right into that.
God.
Right into that web, yeah.
Yeah.
And
but yeah, so and this was a situation where also I was like standing there for another 10 minutes trying to like take a photo of it, but it's like impossible to take a photo of a spider on a spider web for some reason. Like phones aren't capable of doing that.
You really have to like hold it still and get the focus. I've gotten a couple of good ones in my time.
There's got to be like flat color behind it. There's got to be nothing else that the camera can focus on.
Yeah, that's good point there. And so speaking of the animatronics, the mechanical double for like, the big one, big Bob, they called it, was created by Jamie Heineman of Mythbusters. Yep. So
yeah, very early gig doing visual effects work.
Yeah. I mean, makes perfect sense. I wasn't surprised to read that.
No.
Yeah. So there were some things. So John, what did you enjoy most about Arachnophobia?
Thanks for asking, Dan. I loved the Venezuela, intro to the film. I thought that it was shot beautifully.
Yeah.
It looked really cool. The way that they kind of set off that like, thing to like shake all of the wildlife off of the tree and catch things and stuff for observation. It was really cool to see how they did that.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was rewatching a little bit of it, and I was like, it's so interesting how this guy talks about, he makes a big deal about going into this place where like humans have not interfered for all of these years, and then he goes
kind of
and
like Anaconda,
like sprays this gas or whatever into the canopy. It was really, and I mean, it was a cool scene, and it's like everything starts falling into those things, but it's like this guy talks like he's some conservationist, and then he comes in and just like mass murders all of these insects that he's like, oh look, new species of butterfly. So I thought that was fun. But anyway, what else did you like? What else did you like in the movie there?
Oh, just the thrill of it all of those little moments where you're kind of at the edge of your seat. It's a lot of fun. Remembering this movie as a kid and revisiting the John Goodman character, such a blast. I mean, there's something about those earlier John Goodman roles where he's not yet, I mean, he's certainly been in plenty of stuff at this point, but he hasn't been like, I don't know, welcomed into Hollywood to kind of do whatever. This is before Matinee, The Babe, all those movies where it's just like, all right, what else can we get him in?
But this was one where, because he had gotten big, like you said, he had done some movies, Raising Arizona, some other things, True Stories, the David Byrne film,
Revenge of the Nerds,
right? Famously. But this movie, I remember it being marketed based on his being in it. I think he was used more in the marketing than Jeff Daniels.
Right. When did Roseanne start?
Roseanne was a few years before this. It was like 88.
So he was already a household,
That was how, I had seen Raising Arizona, but I hadn't made the connection. So I just knew him from Roseanne, loved that show, loved him on it. And of course, saw the trailers, thought he had a much bigger role in it.
Well, I also bet that he tested really well when they were kind of, testing the movie, and probably figured people are going nuts for this character because it's such a fun role.
I did find there is one thing I noticed, which I wouldn't have noticed actually the first time seeing it, but it felt like his performance was borrowing a little bit from Bill Murray in Caddyshack.
Totally.
Yeah. And it was fine. And I loved when he meets the Julian Sands character and he says always nice to meet a colleague. That was a lot. I loved that line. That's one of those lines that I'm rewatching it after not seeing it so many years, heard that line and was yes, I have always loved that line.
It's so good.
Their interactions, especially because Julian Sands' character is so this, come along, Mr. Manley. The way he starts, just it's like he and Manley have a relationship, they've known each other for an hour. And he's busting, we'll call it the Manleyopicus or whatever. He's when he sees the new butterfly and busting his chops.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Manley is at first I was watching it and I was like, why does this professional photographer seem like he has never had a job before when he's going on this big, massive, you've got to be an experienced photographer to get hired for this, but also he's a sports photographer.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why he's so...
I don't remember if they explain it away. I assume that he was filling in for somebody, somebody couldn't do it, so he stepped in or something.
I rewatched it earlier this evening, that portion of it.
Oh, okay.
And
they don't explain it away?
No, not really. They don't explain why he's wearing a Dolphins cap and not a 49ers cap. Cause, but that's a little, once you find out he's a sports photographer, that makes a little bit more sense. But it's still they need a photographer to document the exploration and discovery of these yet unheard of species, and they just put something out on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Which didn't exist in 1990, so of course.
No, although based on the design of Craigslist, you would think that maybe it was, but
right. Yeah. It's got that early internet vibe. It has, I don't know, I have not been on. Is Craigslist still a thing?
I was actually on it today.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. I have not been on Craigslist, I think, since looking for apartments in 2007.
Yeah. So I was on it today, just kind of poking around, seeing what was out there.
Does it look the same?
Why not? One other thing I wanted to talk about, and I hadn't really thought too much about this up until, really kind of sitting with Arachnophobia for a while, because I did watch it a few weeks ago, maybe even a month or so ago for this podcast. And so the longer I've had to kind of sit with it, the more I was thinking about okay, well, aside from it being surface level, just a monster movie, for lack of a better term, what else is really going on here? And I was thinking about the decisions that were made about the plot and about the characters. And, we have Jeff Daniels' character and his family moving into this town where you know, some people welcome them with open arms, but some people don't. The doctor who was there before, and, you know, they are kind of being blamed for bad things that are happening. And it made me think about, you know, things that have been going on in, I mean, our country specifically for quite some time, but that have been more, you know, top of mind lately. And that's, you know, immigration. And it made me think, like, could this movie really be a bit of a parable about, like, you know, thoughts on immigration and the way that people process, you know, new people coming into an established area and putting the blame on them for bad things that are happening. And I don't know. Look, I'm not saying if that's 100% there, but
it's just because,
you know, I want to kind of try and think of these things beyond the surface and see if there's something else there.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about it because I'm thinking about the trajectory that we find out, no, we don't need to blame the nice white people. It was South American immigrants that came in.
Okay,
and
that part of the
it was
messaging is a
invasive
little off.
South American immigrants. And I'm like, oh, no.
Well, look, I'm not saying that it hit the mark perfectly, but just the idea of, like, you know, the outsiders are to blame for the bad things that are happening when in fact they're the ones that are trying to help.
Right.
And they're the ones that are, you know, good for the, you know, the community and things like that.
Yes.
So,
Narrative.
Yes. The fact that it's actually South Americans that are the ones causing the harm, that's a different story. But,
well, and I mean, I see now I'm going to get into the whole, like, you know, sociology thing about it, the common usage in authoritarian and fascist regimes using insect terminology to refer to the type of people that they want to get rid of. So, you know, like in Rwanda, I think it was, like, you know, referencing, like, saying cockroaches, you know, Nazi Germany, it was vermin, rats, things like that. So the common use of, like, insects and rodents to refer to a marginalized population that a fascist regime is trying to eliminate.
Right. And I mean, in the case of arachnophobia, it is 100%, you know, these actual literal spiders.
Yes.
But,
no. It is. I know. I go
but maybe
along
there's
with,
something there. Maybe there's something there is all I'm saying.
I mean, no, it's, you could make the connections. Yes.
Yeah.
As long as you stop making them at a certain point.
Yeah, no. But also it's like, you could say this, you know, similar things at least about, like, any monster movie. You know, there's those similar lines that you can kind of
Well, and it harkens kind of to like the whole insect thing kind of is more strongly communicated in Starship Troopers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that one's like straight up knows exactly what it is.
Yeah, no, that
isn't trying to hide anything satire.
No, right. That is, exactly. That is a different beast than arachnophobia.
Very much so.
No, but arachnophobia is it's
what are some of your favorite parts of arachnophobia?
Oh boy,
elements.
Some of my favorite elements of arachnophobia. Well, as I alluded to already, just the shots where they're setting it up when you see the spider in a house and you see it crawling across the counter as something is going on, as, you know, the guy's getting up to go into the kitchen to get the popcorn because they're going to watch Wheel of Fortune, or like when the girl goes to take the shower. And of course, if we're thinking classic horror movie, a shower is something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
The things like that. And actually, you know, in that respect, it reminded me a bit of a movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it made me think of Slither, the old James Gunn. Yeah, about the small town, but they're invaded by, like, it's like little monsters,
right?
That look like tongues, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, but kind of that same vibe. I'm pretty sure there's like a bathtub scene in that. But just all of those where you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen?
Well, the kids that are reading the, like, you know, the book.
Yeah. the little with the neighbor girl. So that's fun. I enjoy a lot of the, like I said before, I like seeing a lot of the, those character actors pop up in it. Like that's a lot of fun. I love Julian Sands. I'm trying to think of something I haven't already said that I like about this movie, because I clearly am very fond of it. Yeah. But if there's anything else I'd have to say I like about this movie in general, it's just it aside from like the way that it is made, and that it very much, I think, hits all the marks it wants to hit and accomplishes all of its goals. I think it does so in an engaging and like quick way. It doesn't linger anywhere any longer than it needs to. It's totally. The scene in South America sets everything up really, really well. It's a great start to it. I guess I really like that about it. I don't know if I love it. I mean, at the end, it's funny. They move back to San Francisco, and it was. I think I felt a little like disappointed this time around watching it, and it was like, oh, I'm like, you didn't want to stick it out there, but I don't know. I feel like it's so often we find that, when it's the city people who move to the country and they find, oh, they really, like it there and they really belong there. I'm like, every now and again, we need to have a movie where the like city moves to country or vice versa. And they're like, no, not really for me.
No. One other thing I want to shout out Arachnophobia for is, on the last episode of this podcast, we talked about the movie Big, and we pointed out how awful the poster design was for the movie Big. It's just Tom Hanks' face. If anybody's watching on video on YouTube or Spotify, behind me, you can see the Arachnophobia poster. It's perfect.
It's perfect.
It's such a great visual representation of, I don't know, what you're supposed to be expecting when you watch this movie.
Yeah. Absolutely. The idea of this spider wreaking havoc in this town, and just like the sneaky, the itsy bitsy spider.
Yeah.
And that idea of like, oh, what like fun terror it's going to create.
I know. Yeah. Fun terror.
Thrilomedy. What thrilomedy will we have?
So on this podcast, we always talk about how we would envision revisiting a movie or a franchise. But before we do that, we have a very special feature. I had a chance to sit down with our friend from the Rediscovered Movies podcast, Nomfanelo Moloi, to share some of her thoughts about the movie, and kind of give a little bit of a taste of what people would expect if they're watching Rediscovered Movies, where they go over the highlights of a film and the lowlights of a film. And we also have Nomfanelo treat us to her vision. So let's check that out. Nomfanelo, thank you so much for coming on my show. Finally, I've been a guest on your show, and it's so exciting to have you on Ruined Childhoods. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. I'm glad to be here. So looking forward to it.
Knowing Rediscovered Movies and the way that you typically approach the films that you cover, there's definitely a lot of like 80s and 90s movies that you like to talk about. Or is it, I feel like mostly 90s. You seem to love the 90s. Is there I don't know, a reason why you kind of stick to that era?
Maybe it's partly because I'm a 90s kid, so I think it's partly because of that. And I find too, like with movies from the 90s, they're quite nostalgic, so always looking forward to rewatching those movies. Plus, also too, I cover movies from different eras as well too. I try to mix it up, but I guess because I'm a '90s kid, probably that's why the '90s always.
Oh,
sticks
I
with
hear
me.
you.
Yeah,
yeah. So when I presented you with a list of some of the movies that we were going to be covering, Arachnophobia was the one that you said that you wanted to come on and talk about.
Yeah.
Do you remember watching that when you were a kid?
Yeah, because I believe I was in elementary school when I first saw this, because I think the teacher showed it in class. And I remember I got very,
What? Showed it in class?
yeah.
What kind of class was this?
Right? Yeah, but yeah, I just remember like I got very scared watching this movie as a kid. Especially like with all like when the spider, like we see the shots of the spider when that comes, I was like, whoa, like that's frightening.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, and rewatching this movie now, I'm like, yeah, like it's scary at times, but I felt like this is more, I would say, geared towards kids in a way because it's rated PG-13, I believe. So,
Yeah. Well, it was marketed as like the first thrillamedy, so thriller comedy, and that always cracked me up. But yeah, it's also so much fun to see some of these actors who we, at the time they weren't the biggest stars in the world, and we've seen them like grow in, Jeff Daniels and John Goodman especially, become just these complete superstar, amazing, famous actors. And to see them in this, especially John Goodman doing something, truly silly, kind of, checking in with his work with like the Coen brothers, it's kind of along the lines of a character from a Coen brothers movie that he would have been in. So, that's always a blast. So on your show, you like to talk about the highlights of a movie and then the lowlights of a movie. What was a highlight for you for Arachnophobia?
ooh, I had a few, but I would say one of the main ones is that the spiders in this movie are believable. Because obviously, I believe they use animatronics for the spiders, and probably there's some shots of real spiders as well too. So as an audience member, especially like in a time where these days it's all about CGI, VFX, and all that stuff, it was just nice to see things done more practically. So, and yeah, it was more believable to watch as an audience member.
Yeah, I think that the main big baddie spider is, animatronic, but a lot of the other ones I think are actual spiders. At the end, when it's just like spiders everywhere, then of course, you can't just unleash a bunch of gigantic spiders everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looked really good. And even when it was the animatronic spider, just one-on-one against Jeff Daniels, it was just like, I am in this.
Yeah.
And I fully believe that is just like a bad guy.
Yeah. And I imagine as an actor, it's probably quite scary to not just work with spiders, but with animals in general, because you just don't know whether they're going to cooperate or not. I imagine they had animal wranglers on set for this, but.
Yeah. I read a little something about that, but it's also like, you can't train a spider.
Yeah.
So it's mostly just about like being able to try and control a little bit of like where they're moving and how they're moving. But like, you can't tell a spider to like stop and sit.
Right.
That's not something that a spider can do. I don't know if, all these years later, there have been any advancements in spider training, but
Probably
I don't know.
not.
That's a question for the experts.
It's probably they use a lot of VFX because I think with the movie Eight-Legged Freaks, I remember there was a lot of use of CGI for the spiders there.
Yeah.
So.
And very early CGI that doesn't look all that great.
Right.
But I mean, with, Arachnophobia and Eight-Legged Freaks, they're kind of like two of the big spider movies. So it's like, I feel like now with all there have been other spidery movies, but with all the CGI that's used in them, it's like it's easy to just kind of shrug them off. But the campiness of Eight-Legged Freaks and like the primitive CGI of that makes it charming. And then for this, the animatronics and the use of like some actual spiders kind of makes it feel more cozy and comfortable.
Yeah.
And also the humor that they add to this, and I don't know, the other practical visual effects, just so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. Those animatronics look really good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, did you have a low light for the movie?
I would probably.
I know it's a perfect movie, so it's hard to find one, but
I found, I don't know, like maybe because of my age, I found like it was quite, I don't know, the tone is a bit off at times for me because I don't know, maybe because I've seen my fair share of horror movies and probably with the rating of this being PG, I felt it was like a bit slow at times because I found for me the last act when all the spiders are at Jeff Daniels' house is really worked for me with the use of the jump scares and all that stuff. But I think like through the middle portion for me, I was kind of like, meh, whatever.
oh, really?
Yeah.
So like the whole storyline of like, the doctor coming to the small town and not being able to like that stuff wasn't really for you.
I mean, I didn't mind the story. I just think when it comes to the horror aspect, during that portion just didn't quite work for me.
I did feel like there were those moments where there was like, the spider coming down in the shower and the spider when the kids are like reading that story at the sleepover and everything. Like those are pretty spooky.
Yeah.
And those got me a little bit where I was just like, no, not the kids, even though it's like, okay, I know it's going to be fine. I know that somehow this is going to pass, but yeah, it's spooky. I mean, I remember growing up and I probably watched this movie when it was maybe on home video or something. And I remember being so freaked out about it. And the thing that stuck with me the most was the scene where the doctor puts on the slippers and the spider is in the slippers.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that has stuck with me. Anytime there's like a pair of slippers somewhere, I'm just like, you gotta check the thing for spiders because there might be an arachnophobia spider in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like there were those moments throughout where they would inject like little bits of scary, but those maybe weren't doing it for you.
Yeah, like 'cause I don't know if it's because of the rating or trying to mash up the different genres, but I don't know, maybe it's also a pacing issue for me as well too. So, but other than that, like it's still worthwhile with this movie, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's an overly long movie where you have to just like slog through sections. It still moves. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to add as another low light, it was just
Ooh, 2 lowlights. Ouch.
because apparently like there was the big spider that lives in the big house, but is this the spider that came from Venezuela? Because I wasn't sure with that part. Because we saw like after when the family moves, there's the shot of like 2 spiders look like they're mating or something. There was the big spider and the spider that came from the coffin. I wasn't.
Yeah. So there's the spider that came from the coffin, and that's the one that we see at the end in the basement with Jeff Daniels. And the spider that they find in the house, that's like a smaller one that they bring out and free in the barn. I think that one mated with the Venezuela one, and that's why there's all of these other spiders that are small and you might miss them, but they're deadly. And so, there's the whole thing about how they, spread out from the barn and everything. Yeah. And so, I think that it's because those 2 mated and they were able to create this like, mega stealthy spider.
Interesting. Okay, because I thought like there was already a big spider in the barn. So.
Oh yeah, no, that was so because the one from Venezuela that came in through the coffin, we see it get out of the, the coroner's office and everything, and the bird picks it up, and the bird it kills the bird in midair, and I guess it falls on the property where the barn is.
Which that is a cool shot, by the way.
It is a cool shot. There's almost something kind of like cute about it too, where it's just like, oh, this little scamp is just kind of running through this little town. But it is also just like, I don't know. It's freaky. It's funny. It's a thrill-omedy. It's a perfect word for it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the spirit of the show is that we love to come up with new ways to bring back an old classic. How would you envision a new future for Arachnophobia?
So I want to mention that with the first portion of the movie was set in Venezuela. So it kind of like gave adventure vibes. So I thought that it would be cool that if they were to remake this movie or reboot it, whatever term they use these days, is that why not make like an adventure horror movie that's set either in Venezuela or another country where the professor is out in the jungle trying to look for the new specimen, as he often describes in this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be cool because they're in the outdoors, they're in unfamiliar territory, like anything can happen essentially when the spiders are attacking them. So I found that would be cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And of course, they'd have to use animatronics, no CGI, right?
I don't know, with AI on the rise, who knows?
Yeah. You know, I love that idea. The Venezuela stuff was really awesome. It looked beautiful, and you really felt the anxiety. And they introduced like some really interesting methods of like capturing specimens of this wildlife. And I'd love to see more of that. I'd love to see, you know, that be kind of like a central focus of what's going on.
And yeah, watching that whole sequence kind of gave me Congo vibes because the director, Frank Marshall, he did the movie Congo after this.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Congo. I gotta watch Congo again. It's been a long time. I don't remember it being very good.
I mean, it's entertaining, I would say. Like, you could say guilty pleasure, but
Sure. Well, thank you so much for joining me for a little bit today. Can you talk a little bit about your podcast and, you know, of course, talk about how great the Eddie episode was? Everybody knows that it's the best one, but you know, can you just kind of share with our audience a little bit more about Rediscovered Movies?
Yeah, sure. So, I created the podcast back in, I think came out 2021 during the pandemic. Essentially, I wanted to do a podcast where I talk about movies that are like underrated, whether that's from the mainstream, either independent or stuff that's in between. So, because usually with a lot of podcasts out there, they focus on like the newer movies. I mean, which is cool, but it becomes, you know, a bit oversaturated in my opinion. So I figured, you know, why not just cover stuff that's been rarely seen by the public. So yeah, that's why I wanted to, I created this podcast. And yeah, and I just announced the other day that the 5th season is going to premiere on January 5th, 2026. So
Excellent.
yeah, looking forward to that because I'm still in the midst of recording and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what I have pretty much going on.
Well, I did 2 episodes with you, one of which is in that upcoming season.
Yes.
And I cannot wait till it's out so I can talk about it freely.
Yes.
And when we stop recording this, there's one thing I need to share with you that I won't share when we're recording. But the episode that we did for Eddie, the Whoopi Goldberg movie, Frank Langella, what a blast. And talk about, you know, a movie that has kind of left the collective consciousness a bit. I mean, watched it on YouTube because it's not available anywhere else.
Yeah, unless if you buy it on Amazon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's one of those movies that just doesn't show up a lot and you really have to seek it out. And is it a great movie? Who cares?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter, but it's fun. And I feel like that's what a lot of your movies are, is just like, you know, a lot of fun. And I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing because it gives me an opportunity to be like, oh yeah, I should watch that one again. And, you know, with this podcast, you know, we don't typically do a lot of new movies. I want to say like the newest one that we ever did was, you know, maybe 2010s. And I couldn't even tell you what it was because we typically exist in the, 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. This, of course, being one of them. And we're so happy to be doing it. It's one that we've talked about doing for a really long time. And this episode is actually the last episode in a year-long season where we've been going up the alphabet with movie titles and then down the alphabet. So we started with Anaconda, another movie that takes place in the rainforest and begins and ends with the letter A.
Yeah.
And to end it on Arachnophobia is so much fun. And I'm happy that you were here to talk with me about it too.
Oh, thank you. I just want to mention that, are you looking forward to the new Anaconda movie that's coming out on Christmas Day?
I am. It looks completely silly and ridiculous, and it's exactly what it should be.
Yeah.
For, remaking a movie that is so bananas, you need to go bananas.
Yeah.
You need to go full on bananas, because there were like Anaconda sequels that took it all very seriously, and it's just like, do you see what John Voight's doing in the original? Like, do you see what Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson are doing? Like, no, you need to go complete ridiculousness. Yeah. And I'm curious about it. How about you? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, based off that trailer, I am looking forward to. I'm just curious how meta it's going to be, because they're doing like a movie within a movie type thing. So
yeah. It reminds me a little bit of because Jack Black is in it, but it's also Jack Black was in Be Kind, Rewind, where they are remaking all of these movies. And he takes it very seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't know are you familiar with that one, Be Kind, Rewind?
I've heard about it, but I have not seen it.
It's a lot of fun. It's Michel Gondry, Mos Def stars in it, Danny Glover's in it. It's a lot of fun and it's very silly, but also very sweet.
Oh, okay.
And it's got really great, Michel Gondry visuals. So
Yeah.
you gotta love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And for somebody, because it's all about kind of going back and making their own version of, beloved older movies, like Ghostbusters is one of the big ones. And I think RoboCop is in there. And so it is kind of just like celebrating those, cult classics of the 80s. I think that you would appreciate it. Well, thanks for joining me for a little bit. And everybody needs to listen to Rediscovered Movies. And follow Nomfanelo on all of the social things. We'll put all those in the show notes.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, John, for having me.
Yeah. See ya. How fun is that? Nomfanelo's the greatest.
She is. She's fantastic.
Yeah, I really appreciate that she came on, and Rediscovered Movies is a really fun podcast.
Check out the show, y'all. John's on the Eddie episode.
Check
out other episodes as well. Nomfanelo's on all of them.
Yes. Yeah. So I really loved how Nomfanelo really kind of went into more about the visual effects and things like that. And I just have to echo that one more time. So incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wouldn't have it done any other way.
So then, how would you bring back Arachnophobia?
Well, let's see. I'm struggling because I want to be interesting about this, but I really think a remake would be fun. But like, I would have to insist that the effects are done.
Oh, yeah,
practical effects, please. Yeah. But a remake, I tried to think about everything, and it might be, a type of like game could potentially be fun. There was a computer game of it.
Right.
But I was thinking a remake, and actually we should mention there was a remake announced in June 2022.
Oh, really?
It said here, so it was announced that Atomic Monster and Amblin Partners would produce a remake. James Wan and Michael Clear will serve as producers, while Frank Marshall, who directed the original film, will serve as a executive producer. And then in April 2025, Landon announced that he had left the project due to creative differences. his original draft of the script would have included the return of Delbert McClintock, John Goodman's character, and would have also incorporated the use of body horror elements.
Yeah, I don't love that.
No, I don't love that either. So apparently, he's confirmed that the project is still in active development.
Okay.
Who knows what that means for it? But I do think, so a legacy sequel.
Okay.
I'm not as in favor of that, but it would be, like, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to like bring back a character, but I don't think you need to. I think you can just start fresh, start with the same concept of just somebody somewhere is killed by a poisonous spider and it ends up in the casket with him, sent back to his hometown. None of these are all things that still happen in 2025.
Right.
35 years later. So much of this movie can happen as it did. You don't need to, you can totally update it. You can still have cell phones. People are still scared of spiders. And you know what? This is a case where I actually think adding like cell phones and the device, having like putting the flashlights, trying to take a picture, all those things could actually add to it. I don't often say that, but
okay,
that's where I think you could have more or different types of scares and incorporate that into the film. Having an app where you're trying to just scan an image of the spider to tell what species it is, seeing the app, finally getting the picture and having the app not come up with anything, Right. Like, you could do some cool stuff with an Arachnophobia remake, and like, it does not need to have any connection. I would give it the same poster though.
The same exact poster?
I would give it the same, maybe not the same, like a little tweak to show that, but like maybe just in like the town. Yeah. Just in the image of the town, but everything else, we still have the moon. We still have trees. We still have spiders. So let's do it up. A remake. I want a Thrilomedy. I want you to release it in August. Like, bring it back. Bring back the phobia. John, what do you want to do?
So I was actually thinking that a Lega sequel would be a fun way to approach this. I wouldn't have Delmar come back though. I think that there is going to be a new breed of spider that is perhaps wreaking havoc on San Francisco. And we have Dr. Jennings 35 years later suddenly thinking, oh no, here we go again. And, and kind of using some of the skills that he gained 35 years prior in his cellar to help, I don't know, fix the situation.
To your point, and especially to your here we go again point, here's where a Lega sequel actually kind of works, is because it's not so ridiculous if the guy has to deal with two spider infestations 35 years apart. It's not like Die Hard where every other year it's happening. Yeah. And
well, also, how many times have we heard about different types of murder hornets or different types of bees that are supposed to be coming out?
Killer bees, man.
Yeah, or maybe there's like a situation that's similar to cicadas where it's like every, 600 years out of the ground comes this one particular type of spider. Something where it's like, we might not have heard about it happening because, it's before we would have been, documenting these types of things the way that we would now.
I want to put this in here, whether it's a Lega sequel or just a straight up remake, and actually this would probably make the straight up remake a Lega sequel, but I insist that somewhere in there someone has to have a book by Dr. Atherton We must have
Oh,
a Julian
totally.
Sands tribute
100%.
in this
Yeah.
Arachnophobia, whatever it is. But we must have a book with Julian Sands. So whether it is just whether it's just Jeff Daniels, like getting it off his like autographed copy off the shelf because
Right.
like they became friends and stayed in touch or whatever, or whether it's just the totally disconnected people in whatever town the remake is in who they're like, this guy literally wrote the book on spiders. And
Yeah.
if he didn't know about it, no one did. So bring it back. Yeah. Cause tragic passing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if any of you out there tuning in have ideas of how you would bring back Arachnophobia, email us, ruinchildhoodspod@gmail.com. Check out ruinchildhoodspod.com for lots of fun stuff. And we love to hear from you. Rate and review the show wherever you can. Give us those 5 stars. We appreciate it. Check it out on YouTube and leave comments and engage with us there.
Yeah.
So, Dan, this wraps up our 3rd season. We went with movie titles A to Z,
Yeah.
then Z back down to A.
Wow.
And so much fun. I had a really great time doing it. And I
you have any
kind of
favorite
feel a little
letters?
free now. Do I have any favorites?
Did you have any favorite letters? I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, were there any letters just looking back?
Q, the winged serpent.
And then on the way
And
back.
Quadrophenia on the way back.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
We had Xanadu and X-15. I'm thinking about ones where it's like I would have never seen the movie otherwise.
Right. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to like consult the list to see what
See, it's funny. I was thinking of just odd coincidences because we planned stuff out in advance, but like we didn't necessarily plan that we were going to go from Anaconda to Arachnophobia, which there are
So
some
many A's.
interesting connections there, or that both of our B movies would be summer of 1988 comedies that are
Big and big business.
For
Dark
D,
Man and Donnie
right,
Darko.
from Darko to Dark Man.
Mhm.
We did that, and there was another.
Well,
one.
for G, we did 2 movies from the 1950s, Glenn or Glenda and Giant.
That's right.
So that's kind of cool.
Our N movies, Nick of Time and North by Northwest, are kind of connected. And North by Northwest definitely influenced Nick of Time.
Yeah, it was so funny because, in the intros, I try and link in the second half of the alphabet or of the season, I was trying to link them to the episode from the first half of the season, and so it was a fun exercise for me to try and like figure out the pathways to get there. And then for Nick of Time, I was like, well, damn. There's really like,
but we didn't
not
necessarily
much to do here.
Like we didn't necessarily plan that out. It just kind of ended up where, all right, this is a good movie to do for our second N movie. And what do you like? Oh, well, look at that. We didn't pick it because it paralleled North by Northwest so much.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought those were some fun ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's been a really fun season, and I'm glad that we did it. And we do have plans for a season 4 coming in early 2026. We are going to be releasing information about what that is on our social channels. So check out our presence on Instagram and on TikTok, and we will roll that out in the coming months. But in the meantime, we're just going to be kind of figuring out the next season and working it out and watching lots of movies and having lots of fun. If there are certain things that you want us to talk about, feel free to email us, ruinchildhoodspot@gmail.com, if it happens to fit into what our theme is going to be. I don't know if this one's going to be a year-long 52-episode theme the way that our past 2 seasons were, but, we're going to keep it open.
We're using the term
now.
season very loosely, considering our first season was over the
Our
course
first
of
season
that many
was the
years
first
and
100 some odd episodes, 150 episodes, and then 52 for the past 2 seasons. And what are we on, episode 307?
Yeah, 307. Here we are. So
Cool. Well, Dan, season 3 has been so much fun. I'm so glad that we did this. Thank you again to Nomfanelo Moloi for being such a cool participant and a willing participant to kind of go on these little mind journeys with us, with figuring out how to bring back these cult and classic films.
Yeah.
And well, I guess all I have to say is, Dan, as you are traveling to the country to go live in a place with a barn where there are hopefully no spiders, I wish you a good journey.
Carry on, Mr. Manley. Good journey.